Good morning and a welcome here. I was going to say welcome here to, did it all at the same time. Hello and welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I'm hanging out with you inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Appreciate your patience here this morning. Your boy has not had a rest time. I don't know the last time I had a nap. I think I need a nap. And napping isn't for old people, okay? Napping's for everyone. I remember back in school, so when I was in kindergarten with Miss Safranco, shout out to Miss Safranco, sending my love to her and her loved ones. Miss Safranco, after we had lunch, we go outside and have recess, and then we would come inside and we'd have to take a nap. And she'd shut all the lights off, and we had to put our head on our desk. And if we didn't take a nap, we got yelled at. We got reprimanded if we didn't take a nap. You ate, you played, you slept. How many people do that after they eat now, right? If you're an adult and you take a nap during the day, it's frowned upon. But I think we should reinstitute taking naps and getting in trouble if you don't. So, not by the government getting in trouble, not like, FBI at the house, take your nap. I just mean, it should be applauded to take a nap. I'm going to try and take one at some point between now and 2026, but I'm happy to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We're inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Why is that important? Because I love Great Lakes Honda City, and I trust them with my vehicle. You should trust them with yours. I don't like going to dealerships. I don't like dealing with people when it comes to cars. But I have been at Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, for over a decade. Why? Because I get great vehicles. I love the Honda product. The vehicles are safe. They're good on gas mileage. And I love the way that I have been treated over the years by some wonderful people that are within those walls. And so I just want to thank Elijah. I want to thank Mark. I want to thank Malik. I want to thank the everyone that's there when it comes to the service team. I want to give a big time shout out to everybody. So, as well as that wonderful reception desk when you walk in the door and the first people that you see, and their kindness and some of the great conversations I've had there. So big time shout out to Great Lakes Honda City. Go and visit them Monday through Saturday for sales and service. Let them know that DT sent you to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And of course, you can go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com, get a sneak peek. We are with you up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast. You know what it is. YouTube.com and Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT. And on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So wherever you are, we are. How cool is that? And you can hang out with us live, or you can listen, watch the playback of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So with that being said, it is a Monday. Murph was off last week because it was Labor Day. I was supposed to be off too, but we had three big announcements bringing in Myers Creek and all of their locations currently in the Syracuse Inner Harbor, where we were over the weekend for our inaugural live broadcast for Wake Up Call Game Day. And we had such an awesome atmosphere there that I cannot wait to be there this time for pregame this Friday as Syracuse takes on Colgate when it comes to the football season. Very excited. So we had to announce Myers Creek Game Point Sports Complex, which I absolutely love and definitely cannot get enough of already. I've been in there a few times. Every time I go in, I'm like, where's the basketball at? So make sure you go there for basketball, volleyball, pickleball, and more. You can book your time by going to gamepointsports-syr.com. And of course, many thanks to Jim Dispenza. And we got to announce OCC as our newest exclusive multimedia marketing partner and have a jump-off conversation with Director of Athletics Mike Borsch. So it was a busy Labor Day for me. I was supposed to not work. I worked 11 hours, but it was all good stuff. And Murph and I obviously had that time away. So now Murph is back with me, and we're going to talk about a lot of different things picture in picture today. His favorite team is orange and blue. My favorite team is orange and blue. I'm happy that it's an ugly loss as opposed to a pretty win. We had to take all of Murph's weapons away. we had to have a Murph intervention over the weekend. A few text messages yesterday, and I just thought, oh great, this guy's gonna be fun to talk to Monday morning when he talks about his Gators. So we will discuss And we will get into NFL Week 1 and the Aaron Rodgers Bowl and how Week 1 may have given you a little preview to what I predicted would happen this season. And GG Cards and Breaks will do some show and tell. I had a fantastic time at Collectors Fest. I cannot thank Lynn Lake enough for fitting me in there in the 11th hour, and just great opportunity, great spacing right there on the corner. I met so many wonderful people. Got to meet some of you that watch and listen to the show, so shout out to you all, and thank you for your support. Got to get some new listeners and viewers as well, and got to see my buddy John Newman. Shout out to John. I'm going to be on his show coming up very soon. And yeah, we had a great time. So made history yesterday. A lot of my product is gone. I figured, Daddy Murph would be happy today to know that some of those cards that he has been kind of telling you all to get rid of, I did. And the one that was stared at the most was my JJ McCarthy. And I kept telling people, this is my price. Make me a respectable offer. I asked everyone, because that was the card that everybody stared at. I said, here's my price. If you make me a good offer, then we can talk. I said, all you got to do is make me an offer. Make me a fair offer. Kid came back 3 times, kept staring at it. I looked at him. I said, dude, make me an offer. Make me a fair offer. And he did, and I absolutely took it. I learned from the Kenny Pickett days. So with that being said, a lot of good stuff coming up here. With all due respect, though, when my Kenny Pickett was at that Collectors Fest, it was an $800 card, and people were not even coming anywhere close to that number. So, now this one was $30 off from what I was asking for, and it was more than what I paid for, and I was absolutely happy to take it and make sure it goes to a good home. So with that being said, Murphalation Station is here with us. Murph, how we doing?
I decided not to sit at the table today because my back's been bothering me the last 2 days, so I'm taking a little bit more of a comfortable approach here because I'm down in Jersey. So I will not have any cards with me for show and tell. We can obviously talk about it. I know you said you had a great time yesterday at Collectors Fest. I wish I could have been there, but excuse me, jeez. But yeah, it was a fun weekend.
Yeah,
I guess. One of my teams looked good and lost. One of my teams looked horrible and lost.
Yeah.
And another one of my teams lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds, so that's not ideal. But we played the Phillies for 4 this week, and seemingly we own the Phillies this year, Jerry. Don't know if you're listening, but hey, anything can happen. Trey Turner's hurt now, so that's one less piece for the Phils.
Yeah, I mean, and I know that you and I will be talking about it, but I know you're a little sad about what happened this week for your teams, but I'm gonna wait on getting to Aaron Rodgers for a moment here and what's happened there. I do want to go to Syracuse first and foremost and speak on the Orange, and then we will roll into a college football continuation talk when it comes to the Florida Gators. So, as you know, Murph is a Gators fan, and not only is Murph a Gators fan, but so is Papa Joe. So PJ and I got to speak on the Gators. He was hurting after this week, and he sent me a message. He was not having it, so he's not feeling great.
So he and I are on the same page.
Yeah, no, definitely, you guys are on the same page this morning. So he's not having it. I'm sure he's gonna woof about it a little bit when we get on the broadcast together on Thursday. But, the conversation of the Florida Gators will be coming up. Syracuse Orange first and foremost here. The Orange are now 1-1. They win this game in their opportunity that they had going up against the UConn Huskies. Now, I told people and I cautioned people going into this game that, they look at UConn and over the years, once Syracuse left the Big East and all this stuff, it was like, okay, UConn's not that great. They're not good. We can take them. They're a terrible team. If you put them on the schedule, it's an automatic win. And I've told people repeatedly, and I said it going into this matchup, Northeast teams loathe each other. They absolutely loathe each other. They do not, in any way, shape, or form, like each other at all. And why do I bring that up? Because of the fact that they play each other tough. That's what they do. So when you see Syracuse UConn, or you saw Syracuse Rutgers, or Syracuse Villanova, who's FCS, it doesn't matter. Syracuse Pitt. Northeast schools cannot stand each other, and they could be wherever they are in their season, wherever their record is, whatever's going on with them, it doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. When they play each other, it's, I want to beat the heck out of you, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do so. They gave them a great game last year in the Dome. That game was 31-24. Syracuse ended up winning that game, squeaking it out. Cam Edwards had a 71-yard touchdown run. In this game, we saw another 40-plus yard touchdown run. Cam's still on the team, but this was from Mel Brown, who ran 45 yards. And a touchdown of separation last year, a touchdown of separation this year. Syracuse, it took overtime for the Orange to thwart any plans of UConn getting the victory in this game. Now, they got the win, but some people are losing their heads because they've already said to me, when are you ready to give up on Steve Angeli? And people are trying to give their reasoning for giving up on Steve Angeli. And I want to start there with you, Murph, because Steve Angeli has only started one game in his collegiate career. Before he came to Syracuse, he had only ever started one time. That was in a bowl game in his first year on the field with Notre Dame. He played in the bowl game, and that was it. Never had a start at Notre Dame outside of that bowl game. So then let's fast forward to Syracuse. He comes to Syracuse, never been a true starter, and he starts the first game, and his first ever game as a starter in the regular season, Tennessee, a team who made it to the college football playoff as an at-large bid last year. And the game's away from home. So he has been challenged. And how did he respond to the challenge? After the team went down 17-0 in Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the Aflac kickoff game on neutral ground up against the Tennessee Volunteers, he responded after that first quarter by helping the team get to 28-26. They were only 2 points of separation in the last three quarters between Syracuse and Tennessee. And how did he respond in this game when he made mistakes, had blunders, and the team needed him? He got better as the game went on, just like he did against Tennessee. Helped the team come all the way back, found Justice Ross Simmons on a fourth down play, and I don't think that the defense of UConn was ready. One of the guys looked frazzled. He started to come in. Justice Ross Simmons, he's looking this way. Justice went that way, tosses the ball to Justice, short pass. Justice takes it 53 yards, turns on the Jets, makes it happen, which is exciting for Syracuse fans to see because Justice Ross Simmons wasn't 100% last year. So when he turned on the Jets, he was maybe at 80. Maybe at 90, but he wasn't at 100%. This year, gets in the end zone, makes it happen in that first home game for the Orange. Then, after that, we see Yasin Willis, who told us last week, you can't keep me out of the end zone. And they didn't. And he went to the outside, and he got in. The 2-point conversion to Darrell Gill Jr., he gets his foot down. Syracuse did everything they could late. They never gave up. I talked to Steve Angeli about it. Bend but don't break. And he spoke with me about mental and physical toughness, which he had both in this game. That dude got popped, blindsided twice, and bounced right back up. I thought, man, any normal human being would lay on the ground for a little while. He got up and kept moving. Got this team into the end zone multiple times down the stretch. They started down 14-6. They finished the game 21-6. And Syracuse gets the overtime touchdown to Justice Ross Simmons, who made an incredible catch, bobbling the ball, then grabbing it, holding on, and making sure that he had himself inbounds before he flew out. So, Murph, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Syracuse is 1-1. They fought Tennessee tough for the last three quarters of that game after a rough start. And now people are asking me if I want to get rid of Steve Angeli.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at what this team's doing, I think Fran deserves a lot of credit for what this, like, the resilience of this team. They did not lay down against Tennessee, which, you know, anybody with a brain could have said, you know, I wouldn't blame them if they just, you know, go into that game expecting to lose and, you know, just move on to next week to UConn. It was an inferior opponent that you should be able to beat. But it seems like Fran's doing a good job of keeping his guys in line, keeping his guys disciplined. And I mean, if you look at the numbers for Steve Angeli in 2 games, he's got almost 700 yards passing,
Yeah.
3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You know, is his rating amazing? No, but you know, he could complete more passes is the probably the biggest thing that people would look at. But against UConn, he threw for 417 yards.
Yeah.
That's a vintage Kyle McCord game. Guys, don't like underestimate him. He came from Notre Dame. He was in a major program. He made the college football playoff last year. He made the college football playoff national championship game last year. Granted, was he on the field? No, but he was there. He got to be there. He got to see how
he helped them get there. He went 6 for 7 against Penn State in a 3-point game, filling in for Riley Leonard. How many backup quarterbacks can go almost perfect throwing the ball when your starter goes down? When Riley went out, the thought probably from many people was this is the end of the season for Notre Dame. Without Steve Angeli, Notre Dame doesn't get to the college football national championship last year. So that in and of itself should count for something.
It didn't. I mean, it did help them, the fact that Drew Aller's receivers couldn't catch a football in that game, but but still, like you're right. He had to go. He had to come in. He had to play well, and he did, and helped his team to a win and got them to the national championship. So he's performed on the biggest stage. Give the kid a chance. This is a totally different. It's a totally different perspective for what we're going to be talking about in a little bit with Florida. So he's started 2 games. Let Fran do his job. Look at where they were. They were, correct me if I'm wrong, 10 wins last year?
10-3.
Right? 10-3?
Yep.
When's the last time Syracuse went 10-3?
2018. And the time before that, it was forever.
Okay. My point exactly. In year 1, Fran Brown goes 10-3. Hasn't been done in more than half a decade. Before that, hadn't been done in a very long time. Give him some time. Let Fran do his job. This is not year 4 where they're just figuring things out. This is year 2, people, and he had a damn good year 1. So relax. Let them do their thing. Are they a team that's going to compete for the ACC championship this year? Probably not. But if they can improve, if they can get to 9-10 wins again, that's telling you that Fran's building a program of sustained winning, recruiting well, and developing good leaders of men. That is what he is there to do. He has set it on repeat for a year and a half. Let him do his job and let him coach a team that could eventually be a top 25 team again. All right, I was listening. I was seeing some stuff on Facebook now that I'm starting to see Syracuse stuff on Facebook. But they were talking about how, like, Fran is definitely the guy to build a sustained winner at Syracuse. And we talked about it when they first hired him. And so far, I think you've hit the nail on the head in that, he's the type of guy that understands the area. He can recruit the area. And he's a disciplinarian. Very much like what you want in a winning football coach. Teams need to be disciplined. If they're not disciplined, you don't win football games. That's the way it is. And, I can use this from experience with my teams in the past. Like, last year's Jets team was one of the most undisciplined football teams I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This Syracuse team looks like they are more disciplined than they have ever been because of Fran Brown. So let's cool the Jets a little bit. Don't get on Angeli yet. If he struggles in another game or 2, he's got 2 picks on the year. If he throws a couple more picks in the next 2 games or so, then maybe you consider making a change. If you lose 2 of those games. But if he's winning in football games, who cares?
Well, this is how I look at it. Okay, Steve Angeli has 3 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 2 games. Steve Angeli has been passing the ball 93 times in 2 games. Even Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and so on and so forth have similar moments and numbers in this. When I see 33 for 53, I think of Aaron Rodgers. I think of Drew Brees. When you throw 53 attempts and you complete over 30 of them, that's good. Because a lot of quarterbacks aren't throwing 33 times. He's completing 33 times. So when people say, oh, well, he missed this guy and he missed that guy and this and that, 93 passes, I can tell you from Blake Bortles' numbers. The more you throw, the more you're going to potentially have incompletions. The more that your percentage may not look great. He's got a 60.2% completion percentage. He's over 60, just barely over 60%, but he's not in the 50s in these first 2 games. 33 of 53 is reminiscent to me of the quarterbacks that have been asked to throw a lot in a game, looking back to Drew Brees toward the tail end of his career. When you're throwing that many times in a game, 33 of 53 is not bad at all, in my opinion. I look at how he plays down the stretch. I look at how he responds to adversity. I look at his mental toughness. I look at his physical toughness. And I look at his resilience and his belief in himself and his faith in himself and his teammates, in his receivers, in his running backs, and his offensive line. Steve Angeli has so many good things going for him that to sit here and even have a conversation about wanting to take him out. And I knew the question was going to come. Isaac Alford and I spoke about it. And we talked about it in our postgame at Myers Creek. That somebody in the media was going to ask a stupid question. And that stupid question was going to be just so they could giggle and they could write an article about it. And they giggle with their friends, right? Because they don't care about people. They just care about doing something that is disruptive so that they can try and get a soundbite. And I don't care who it is, and that's why I'm not mentioning names, because it doesn't matter who it was. It matters the question that was asked. If anybody in the room asked this question, I don't care their age, I don't care what outlet they work for, to ask this question and to get any other response than what you got from Fran Brown, what did you expect? Fran was not happy with it. He didn't appreciate the question. He didn't appreciate the attack on his guy. He said, why would you ask me this question? And I think Steve Angeli was in the back of the room because when that same person asked Angeli a question, Angeli was quick and out of that one. Boom, boom, boom. Next question.
It's ridiculous.
To be in a position that Steve is in right now, it's going to take time. And I caution people, and I had a conversation with a fan about this yesterday, and he said, you're not wrong. I said, y'all wanted to put Eric Dungy out. You were done with Dungy. DeVito's behind him. DeVito's got the hype. Let's bring in DeVito. Screw Dungy. Then you got DeVito. Then you hated DeVito. Then DeVito left and went to Illinois. You said screw DeVito. And then DeVito goes up on the screen for more orange in the NFL, and people are losing their minds cheering for him. It's amazing how you didn't cheer for DeVito when he was in the Dome, but you cheered for him now that he's not in the Dome anymore. But you wanted Dungy to be replaced by DeVito, and when DeVito replaced Dungy, what'd you say? Where's Dungy? So
I don't get some New York sports fans at times, and it's not just like Mets, Jets, Yankees, Giants, like all those. It's the college teams too.
Yeah.
I don't understand Syracuse fans sometimes. I really don't. And the crazy thing is, it's not just New York. It's everywhere in America.
Yeah.
You're calling for somebody's head because of one bad game. And call me a hypocrite because I'm going to be calling for Billy Napier's head when we talk about Florida. But that also goes back to last year. We'll get to that later. The bottom line is, why are we getting upset about this guy over one game that they won?
Right.
It's not like they lost to UConn. If you lose to UConn, maybe there's a conversation, because that's not a team that Syracuse should be losing to by any means. The fact that it was as close as it was a little surprising to me. Probably part of the reason why Fran had his guys running after the game, which, by the way, made national headlines.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch in the morning yesterday before the football starts, we had Fox and Friends on. My dad and I were watching it, and that came across the screen. And I had seen the video beforehand and knew about it. Like that's why I texted you. So you can give us a little more insight on that. But it almost doesn't surprise me that he made them run, because that's not a game that they should have won by 7 in overtime. That's a game they should have won by 27 in regulation. That is not a team that you should be losing to or playing any sort of competitive game to. And realistically, UConn likes to play spoiler. They do, but they are not a football school. We know that. They are a basketball school. Always have been, always will be. They have never been good at football. So the fact that you let them stay in that game, I get it. That kind of makes you beg the question, what's going on with QB? Why are we only beating UConn by 7? But folks, you won the football game. If you lost to UConn, I get it. Maybe that's when you bring that conversation up. But you won. Move on.
Well, and I look at it like this. And like I said earlier on, it doesn't matter what conference or not a conference in the case of UConn. It doesn't matter. Where these teams play, it doesn't matter. Rutgers, Villanova. And it was funny because somebody came up to me in the media during the game, and it was in the first half. And he said, this is reminiscent of Syracuse Rutgers. Makes you think of Syracuse Rutgers. And I said, it makes me think of Syracuse Villanova.
That's probably a better comparison because Rutgers has been good at football.
Well, and here's the thing.
UConn hasn't.
I said that before the second half. I said that before we were in halfway through the game. And what happened? Syracuse Villanova went to overtime. Syracuse won at home. Syracuse UConn went into overtime. Syracuse won at home. So that it was more of that game, but that was the vibe that I felt. And Villanova's FCS, Division I AA. It doesn't matter because Big East schools will always be Big East schools, and they will always loathe each other. Always. And so this UConn game, I told everybody, last year was 31-24. I don't care what UConn is or isn't in your mind. This is going to be a game that's closer than you want it to be. And it was. Did I think it was going to go overtime? No. Am I surprised that it was that close of a game? No, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that Syracuse's offense took a million years to get going. But there's also some things on play calling. But Steve Angeli did another thing that I love. Ryan Nassib was the king of the check down. Ryan Nassib and Prince Tyson Gully linked up so many times on that little boop pass. And what did Steve Angeli do in the game over the weekend? That's what he did with Will Nixon. Boop, Will. Boop, Will. Got you, Will. And he made it look like that. That's a good thing. It's a good comparison. It's a good compliment when I talk about him reminding me of Ryan Nassib. Because Ryan Nassib's a hell of a lot better quarterback than people give him credit for in Syracuse history and making it to the NFL and playing for the Giants. So when you look at Steve Angeli, by and large, 56 completions, 93 pass attempts, 2 games in. Show me quarterbacks around the country that are throwing the ball on average 40 times a game that are doing what he's doing. There's not a lot of people that are doing that, attempting 40 or more passes per game. And like you said, 400 yards, 417 yards in this past game that he had. 417 yards. He's a pocket passer. You're not going to see him run around. So don't expect that out of him. And this offense is going to take time. This is what I can't stand. 4 out of 5 offensive linemen are either new to their position or they're being shifted around. These are not the starters from last year, except for Demetrius Weatherspoon. You got Austin Collins, who came in from transfer center coming in from Louisville. You got a bunch of other guys that are trying to figure it out. You got guys that are transferring in. You got guys that are true freshmen trying to figure out that offensive line. Okay, that's 1. 2, Yasin Willis was on the team last year, but he wasn't the starting running back. It was LaQuinn Allen Jr. So there's change there. 3, there's change at wide receiver. Who is your number 1 guy? Your tight end, Aronde Gadsden II. He's not there. So now Dan Villari has to step up. He was there last year, but Dan Villari's been used everywhere. He's been a quarterback. He's been a running back. He's been a blocker. He's been a tight end. He's been all over the place. So now you have him, who had the first down for Syracuse at home this season on a 17-yard grab from Steve Angeli on Syracuse's first drive of the game on second down. What's up? A lot of change. Jonte Cook II wasn't there last year. Darryl Gill Jr. wasn't the number one wide receiver last year. He comes back after last year, but now he has to step up. When you look at Syracuse's offense and people say, why is this offense not moving? Why are they doing this, that, and whatever? There is new all over the place, be it a new body itself or a person who returned to Syracuse that has to step up. So before people go pitchforks and torches on Steve Angeli's house, let's have a conversation about his offensive line needs to gel, and they need to get comfortable working through this offense, working through the players. This is not Kyle McCord with new receivers. This is new quarterback with new receivers. This is Dan Villari comes back and Darryl Gill comes back, but they didn't have Angeli last year. So there's a lot going on and a lot of changes. By the way, Yasin Willis, 4 rushing touchdowns in 2 games, 3 of them against the SEC's Tennessee, just shy of 100 yards rushing in that game on neutral ground in a Tennessee home game in Georgia. 90% Tennessee fans there, 23 carries, 91 yards, 3 touchdowns. There's so many things to build on, but what people don't want to do in today's society is talk about the build. They want you to be good, right? Nobody expected Syracuse to be 10-3 except for what Isaac said, 8 or 9 wins with an opportunity at 10. What did I say last year? 8 or 9 wins with an opportunity at 10. We got to 9 in the regular season, got to 10. Isaac and I were online with Syracuse. We were right there. We predicted and we got to that point. We were right there. Money is good. But how many people thought that there was going to be 8 to 10 wins last year? Not a lot of us, but Isaac and I saw it. And this year, I can see the road for them to get back to a bowl game. He can see it too. I want people to be cautious and just let them have some time. People love Jeff Nixon and they hate Elijah Robinson. They want to fire the D coordinator, Elijah Robinson. They want to keep Jeff Nixon. Now they want to get rid of them both. It takes time to build. You're living in a world where you have new all over your field. The linebacker core, Derek McDonald's back, but the guys that have been leading there with him, they're gone. They're in the NFL. The defensive line has been retooled. The D-backs are trying to figure things out. One of your starting corners is 17 years old. He's a true freshman. Everything needs time. Even the kicker, Trip Woody, he didn't come from last year. He's a true freshman kicker. So with a team having so much new, Murph, this is not going to be 1 game, 2 game, 3 game. This might be 5 games in where they start to hit their stride. So if you can play Tennessee the way they played Tennessee and you can come back and beat UConn, as Will Hicks said it, and I said it, and Isaac said it, we all said it after the game, I'd rather talk about an ugly loss than a pretty win. So this morning, Syracuse fans should be excited, they should feel good, and they should realize something that many fans have to realize. That things take time to get going, and it's absolutely going to take time for Syracuse because they have a lot of new. And when your quarterback is new, everybody else could return, and it's still going to take time. So to me, it's idiotic to think that Angeli doesn't need time when Peyton Manning needed time when he came into the NFL, and Peyton Manning is a Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there, dude. This is the type of thing that, guys need to gel. You're right. New quarterback, it's going to take time, right? This is not, anytime you get a new coach or a new quarterback, basically replace your entire offensive line or guys are shifting around positions, it takes time to gel. It does not happen right away. Folks, give him some time. Fran's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. This team will win a lot of games this year. Maybe they don't win 10 again. Maybe they win 7 or 8 or 9. But they will win a lot of football games. Fran still has to develop his recruiting classes. That doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. They are a much more disciplined football team than we've seen in years past. So let them grow. Give them time. Let them grow. This is a very different situation than the one we're about to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. And we will discuss that, the other orange and blue, coming up after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I will sit back, have a nice drink, a nice non-alcoholic.
Get some coffee because it might take a while.
A non-alcoholic beverage while Murph has his fun here this morning. We'll talk about the Gators after this fast break. They didn't chomp, they got chomped, and we'll discuss it right after this on DT and Murphy inside a Wake Up Call here in the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Syracuse fans, take a deep breath. It's okay. Jesus is still coming, and he still sits on the throne. So just relax. We'll be back after this fast break.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in. And then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. If you're a Florida Gator fan, I caution you, and my disclaimer for this moment is that the words and actions of Brendan Murphy are not in any way associated with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Murph, I'm going to just let it go to you. Florida won their first game in a blowout over a high school team, and then they lost to South Florida in a game that they had agreed to play in a back and forth. They've made this agreement to go up against the South Florida Bulls, and so I'm just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show here on Wake Up Call. Here's Murph's thoughts on his Gators, who are 1-1.
All right. So I think I've had some time to cool down from Saturday. Saturday night, when the game went final, I was watching the end of the game. I was going out to dinner with my brother and my sister-in-law with my niece. And I watched the end of the game in the car before they got there and was livid. The fact that this game was as close as it was is a joke. Even if we would have beaten this team 18-16, I still wouldn't have been happy. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's all on Lagway. He's not playing well. He's not. 23 of 33, 222, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. We had 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. That's undisciplined football. You couldn't stop what I would argue to be a UFL level team in comparison to like an NFL team from scoring points. I get it. The defense played, you give up 18 points of defense in college, you expect to win the football game. But when you have touchdowns called back, when you when you consistently are making penalties or are committing penalties, which I just want to get the exact number here because I don't want to give any wrong information. 11 penalties for 103 yards. This every single piece of it falls on the head coach. Like we talked about with Syracuse, Brent Brown's only in year 2, and they had a good year last year. They're not exactly losing to teams that they're supposed to lose to, right? Or beating teams or losing to teams they're supposed to beat. They lost to Tennessee last week. That's a good football team. You're not going to lose it for losing that game. Should they have beaten UConn by more? Yes, probably. But again, I'm not going to hold that against Fran Brown in year 2. We are in year 4 of Billy Napier. And he has proven time and time again that he does not have what it takes to win at the University of Florida. That is as embarrassing of a loss as I have ever seen as a Florida Gator fan in recent years. The fact that this game was even close is a joke. And I know you cover USF. I know you cover the American. And, we've talked about the American as a football conference and all that. And, this isn't necessarily saying anything to degrade the conference or degrade USF. But that is not a team that belongs on the same field as Florida and winning that football game. They are ranked now, and rightfully so. They beat Boise State last week. They beat Florida this week. They're in the teens. Good for them. They should be ranked after those 2 wins. Florida is now unranked. Rightfully so. You can't lose to that team and be ranked anymore. They fell all the way out of the top 25 from number 13. And I'm not surprised one bit. If they and I can tell you right now exactly why they got embarrassed. They were looking ahead to next week. That is all on the coach. When you are looking ahead to an LSU game, which is going to be a difficult football game. LSU's number 3 team in the country. You play 4 games. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 of your next 6 games are against teams in the top 7. LSU, Miami, Texas, Georgia. Sorry, top 16. And Texas A&M. 1, 2, 3 of those games are on the road, and 1 is in a neutral site. They were looking forward to LSU. They figured this game would be a cakewalk. We're going to beat them, no problem. And you didn't. That is all on coaching. I'm with Gator fans. Lagway hasn't played great. He didn't play great last week in the blowout win against LIU. Realistically, that should have been 7-0. That's a team. You're supposed to beat that team by 1 million. But you're also supposed to beat USF by what was the pregame line? What was the pregame line of this game?
For South Florida, Miami.
No, I'm looking. Oh, let me see. It's not telling me.
Betting odds.
Oh, here we go.
Okay,
18.5 points.
Yeah.
You're 18.5 point favorites. You didn't even put up enough points to cover the spread, let alone beat them.
Yeah.
That is the most embarrassing loss that I have seen as a Gators fan in a long time.
Yeah, 18-5. That's great.
This is up there with the LSU shoe game. It is. And I mean, yes, you should have lost that game. But you had one guy make a stupid mistake or make a boneheaded decision, not a mistake, a decision that cost you a game. I'm not going to lose sleep over it because it's LSU. LSU could beat you any given Saturday. This team, that USF team, has no business competing with Florida, let alone beating them. Absolutely none. The fact that they lost that game is an absolute disgrace, and Billy Napier should have been fired yesterday. But the issue is, it all comes back to the athletic director. Since he has been in charge, any coach that has been in charge, any coach that he has brought in since he took over hasn't won squat. It is embarrassing. It is unacceptable. Scott Strickland is probably the one guy that you look at that might need to be removed before Billy Napier. Florida has always been, and Walter Clayton Jr. said it on ESPN one day that, Florida's an everything school. And I don't think he's right. The only school to win a national championship in football, basketball, and baseball in the 21st century. Actually, it might be the only school that's ever done it. I don't know if that's true or not. You can fact check me all you want, but not many other schools have done that, if any. The fact that your basketball team just won a national championship. Your baseball team is competing for national championships every year. Has been to Omaha 2 of the last 3 years. Been to the Final Four 2 of the last 3 years. Got to the College World Series championship 2 years ago. The softball team has been great. The volleyball team has been great. But these are all teams that their coaches have been there. Kevin O'Sullivan's been there for 20 years. You've gotten lucky with this basketball coach because he actually knows a thing or two about winning. That's the only team that's won anything with this athletic director, with a new coach. I said this before. I said this when we hired Billy Napier. He was not the guy to lead this team. Dan Mullen should have never been fired. This would have never happened under Dan Mullen's watch. And I'm running out of words to describe this, to keep this PG, because obviously this is a family show and we can't, we got to keep it PG on a family show here. So I'm running out of words to describe this. So I'm just going to leave it at this. It's embarrassing. That team should have never even been in the game with you. And Billy Napier, you are on thin ice, my friend. I don't care what your buyout is. I don't care how much money we'd owe you if we fire you. You are on very thin ice. If you end up having a losing record this year, you are done. And I get the schedule's difficult. LSU ranked 3, Miami ranked 5, Texas ranked 7. That's your next 3 games. Now, if they rattle off 3 in a row and win those 3 games, all right, I'll give you some credit. But I will still hold that USF loss against you. But if they go 0-3 in those 3 games, which they very well could, with 2 of those games being on the road and 1 of those games being against Arch Manning in Texas at home, I don't know if they're going to win another game until they play Mississippi State. And they may not even win that one. Teams got to step up. Coaches have to step up. This team is completely undisciplined. They need to get better there, or it's going to be a long year. You got a lot of ranked opponents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ranked opponents in 12 games. And you can't win the games you're supposed to win? Give me a break. I'm done. I can't anymore. I can't deal with this dude anymore. I can't.
So I'm going to say a few things. First and foremost, Billy Napier coming in when people thought, why'd you get rid of Dan Mullen, who's now the coach at UNLV? And I thought Dan Mullen would get back into coaching, and he has. Billy Napier coming in, you got to win in the SEC. Even if you do win in the SEC, even if your buyout's astronomical, it doesn't matter. Jimbo Fisher's an example of that. $70+ million buyout. I think it was $72 million when all was said and done. The dude's got enough money to have 3 lifetimes and never coach again or work again, ever. And now he's helping out the ACC. When you're in the SEC, they like you at your introductory press conference. And if you lose your opening game, they say, Well, it was nice having you, coach. It's so quick in the SEC. It's not right. It's crazy. Billy Napier coming in, there was the question mark of, okay, well, what's he going to do? Right? Because when the SEC hires guys, you can go the route of trying to find somebody who's coming up, who's doing well at a program that may not be in the SEC or ACC or Big 10 or Big 12, whatever, and bringing that person in. Or you can go get somebody who has this like Hollywood name when it comes to sports. And when they brought in Billy Napier, it was like, okay, this is his opportunity to show himself on this stage and this and that. And it's been rough. You know, Will Muschamp, he struggled there. Dan Mullen got disrespected there after almost making the college football playoff. And here we are with Billy Napier. I'm going to say something that I know Murph won't agree with, but to me it needs to be said. South Florida won the game. I have watched many football games. I've watched games where Syracuse has bit themselves in the foot, where they have had multiple false starts on offense on the same drive. Under Doug Marrone, we were like Syracuse was the false start kings. And for whatever reason, they struggled there, right? Lack of discipline. Penalties on Florida, not South Florida's problem. Making a mistake on Florida, not South Florida's problem. Not getting the job done, not getting into the end zone, I mean, South Florida's trying to prevent that. South Florida, under Alex Golesh, when Nick Saban was the head coach at Alabama, put Alabama in a situation in South Florida, in Tampa, where that game was held under 20 points on both sides, and they pushed all the way through, almost to the bitter end of coming very close to upending Alabama. Then they played Alabama the next year away from home. They got to go out to Alabama, and for, 3.5 quarters until 7:33 left in the game, I think, somewhere around there, that game was close. So you have a Nick Saban Alabama, and then you have Alabama in general that Alex Golesh, in his first couple seasons as the head coach at South Florida, took a team that had a streak of losing seasons. I think it was 4 straight losing seasons, and hung tough against Alabama 2 years in a row, including with Alabama under Nick Saban. They've gone to bowl games in both years under Alex Golesh. They come out and they blow out a top 25 Boise State. Then they defeat another top 25 Florida. So absolutely South Florida should be in the top 25. The place where I'll disagree with Murph is when you say this team has no business being on the field. Obviously they did. They won. And at the end of the day, penalties or not, this, that, or whatever, whatever team is the victor was the better team that day. If UConn had beat Syracuse, they're the better team that day. And whether or not people think UConn deserves to be on the field with Syracuse, they were the better team that day. Look at BC and how they played Michigan State. They played them to double overtime. They lost by just a couple points. If they had won, most people would tell you that BC does not deserve to be on the same field as Michigan State. Michigan State's in the Big Ten. BC's in the ACC, but BC's a nothing. BC's an afterthought. But BC showed that they deserve to be in that game. South Florida, this is not the first time they've shown themselves. It's not the second time they've shown themselves. Under Alex Golesh, this school, not even the football program, has been bullish. They're finally getting an on-site field, a field on their campus. They're not going to be at Raymond James Stadium anymore in the not-too-distant future. They're expanding and growing and advancing their facilities. They have put money into football. They are leaning on this, and in this Alex Golesh era, they are believing. So the only place where, and I know you're frustrated with Florida, the only place where I will disagree is South Florida. South Florida absolutely deserve to be on this field. I'm tired of the conversation the American doesn't. The American has beaten so many teams, top 25 teams, quote-unquote Power 4 teams. They beat them on the road. They beat them at home. They beat them on neutral ground. They beat them in bowl games. They beat a team that beat the 2 teams, the one that played in the national championship. They've gone undefeated. The NCAA has named one of those teams, a national champion when people knock UCF for calling themselves a national champion. They didn't call themselves a national champion. The NCAA rule book called them a national champion. And if people want to get mad about it, how about Auburn calling themselves a national champion? How many times? What did they just claim a bunch of national championships before we started this season? So the only place where I will disagree, I know you're frustrated with Florida, and rightly so. I know that Billy Napier probably has the hottest hot seat this morning. But I will take nothing away from South Florida. They won the game, whether it's pretty, ugly, whatever it may be. They responded, right? Florida had penalties. South Florida could have responded with penalties. Florida had mistakes. South Florida could have responded with mistakes. South Florida was a better disciplined team that day. They were a better structured team that day. They kept their cool. They kept their poise. They didn't get scared of the big bad wolf, and they won the game. So I understand frustration with Florida, but I will defend that South Florida won that game. So whatever people want to say about South Florida versus Florida, on that day, in that game, on that field, South Florida was better.
Yeah, and we'll disagree on that, and that's fine. That's what makes this a good show between us, is we can disagree on things, right, and still be perfectly civil. So I'm not going to take anything away from USF because Florida makes all those mistakes. They handed them that game. They still had to go win it. They still had to march down 80-something yards and kick a field goal to win the game.
Right.
They still had to do that. Again, did Florida take it on a silver platter and hand it to them? Yes. But USF still had to take it. If USF didn't take it, this is a completely different conversation. Actually, it's probably not that much different, but it's still a different conversation. So even though Florida handed them the game, they still had to take it and run. They still had to drive 87 yards down the field after a really good punt from deep in Florida's own territory to like the 13-yard line or whatever it was. They had to march down and kick a field goal. Florida kind of let them march down the field because they were kind of playing prevent defense, and that's not what you should be doing when a team only needs a field goal. But again, South Florida still had to take it and run.
Yeah.
So they absolutely deserve to be ranked. That's 2 quality wins for that program.
2 top 25.
Yeah. That's 2 good wins. Now, granted, both those teams are unranked now, but at the time they were top 25 teams. You can't take that away from them. They will, when you look at the end of the year and they say they have X amount of top 25 wins, they have 2 top 25 wins right now in 2 games.
Yeah.
Watching that team, it's a team that could probably compete for the American Championship this year. And I wouldn't be shocked if they win and go to the playoff. But where my point, so kind of where my point was coming from, they took that game way too lightly. They basically said, we're going to win this game. We're just going to focus on LSU next week, thinking ahead. And it cost them. That's what happens when you play a trap game. And that's what happens when you don't really pay attention to the team in the trap game. Because that's not a bad South Florida team.
No.
They are much better than they have been in years past. They are.
They used to be a really strong team under Charlie Strong, ironically, and Willie Taggart. And then they dipped off for under Coach Holtz, they struggled. Then under Charlie Strong, they did well. He left and went to Texas. And then, when you move forward from there and look at what Willie Taggart did, Willie Taggart had a ton of success to the point where he became the head coach of Oregon and then Florida State. And since then, there has been a lot. The rivalry with UCF was insignificant because UCF was taking it to them. And so, really, in this Alex Golesh era, this is when they've come back. Under Alex Golesh and under his staff and with the players that they brought in, this team, for 2 years now under Golesh, has had success and had winning records. And now they've started year 3 with 2 top 25 wins. South Florida is back. And they continue to prove that, and they continue to show that. And the more that people underestimate them, they're going to make people pay. You know, Florida's got to get in the end zone. Florida didn't get in the end zone. Florida played this game.
Well, they did, but they decided to commit penalties and bring them back.
So So you look at the field goal. You got 3 field goals to start the game. They don't get in the end zone, and it counts until the fourth quarter. So you know you can't commit stupid penalties. And I will tell you this, and I'll tell you this about my hometown of Syracuse. I'll tell you this about anywhere, any team. You commit penalties, and you beat yourself up. Can't knock the other team for that. That was stupid on you.
No.
And Syracuse has had so many moments where that had happened historically. For Florida, this happened in this game. But again, like you said, you commit a million penalties, but if the other team doesn't take advantage of it, what does it mean? You could turn the ball over, but if the other team doesn't score, what does it mean? You can grab 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions and have 6 takeaways, but if you come away with 3 points, what does it mean? South Florida did enough to win this game, and they deserve the credit, and they have the credit. Now, they, as of this morning, are ranked above
17.
They're ranked above Alabama in the Associated Press poll. In the coaches poll, I don't know what the coaches are thinking.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, the coaches have totally disrespected them, put them at 23, but they this morning are 18 in the AP poll.
18.
They are above Alabama, they're above Utah, they're above Texas Tech, they're above Indiana, they're above Michigan, they're above Auburn, and they're above Missouri in the AP poll. So shout out to them for that. By the way, in the continued conversation of Notre Dame having unfair rankings, Notre Dame is 0-1, and they're ranked in the top 10 at 8, above 2-0.
They lost a 3-point game to Miami.
They're 0-1. They're above 2-0 Illinois, 2-0 Florida State, 2-0 South Carolina.
I'm not defending that they should be in the top 10. But
no, they should not be in the top 10.
They lost to Miami, who's 5th in the country now by 3 points.
I'll put it to you this way. There's no one else on the planet right now that is 0-1 and ranked in the top 25. So must be nice to be Notre Dame.
Well, they haven't played a second game yet.
And you know what? I don't care.
Hey, they play Texas A&M on Saturday. If they beat Texas A&M, then they deserve to be in the top 25.
It has been proven that the committee for the college football playoff, the AP, and the coaches poll like Miami under Mario Cristobal. They believe Miami is back, even though Miami showed them last year that they weren't. So they continue to have Miami high, which promotes Notre Dame. Because Miami's 5th and in the AP and 6th in the coaches poll, they think that Notre Dame had a quality loss. And all I'm saying is, must be nice to have quality losses when you're Notre Dame in the Big Ten, when quality losses don't exist for the ACC, they don't exist for the American, they don't exist for the MAC, they don't exist for Conference USA, they don't exist for whatever the Pac is, they don't exist for the Sun Belt. The only time you can ever have a quality loss is if you are in the Big Ten, the SEC, or Notre Dame. And at 0-1, Notre Dame is above Illinois, Florida State, and South Carolina. And Illinois, I don't know why the hell they're 9, but I will sit here and have conversations all day about Florida State and South Carolina and why these two teams being out of the top 10 is a friggin' joke. But, you know, rankings are
Florida
rankings.
State, I think the only reason is because they started the year unranked.
Right.
I think that's the only reason that you could justify maybe not having them in the top 10.
But you know what they
beat Alabama handily.
Right, Florida State. South Carolina was ranked.
14 points?
Right, well, but the thing is South Carolina was ranked. Here's my issue.
The only thing is South Carolina's wins aren't as big as Florida State.
But you know
Florida State beat Alabama.
But you know what their wins are bigger than?
South Carolina's won 2 cupcakes.
You know what their wins are bigger than? A loss.
Notre Dame.
You know what Florida State and South Carolina has that Notre Dame doesn't have?
I don't disagree with you that those two teams should be ranked higher.
They should be ranked higher.
I'm not arguing that Notre Dame should be ranked 8. I'm arguing that it should be in the top 25.
I'm not saying
because
take
of that
Notre
loss
Dame
to Miami.
I'm not saying take Notre Dame out of the top 25, but who the hell gets a bye week in week 2? So
that's a fair point.
You know what I mean?
If they beat Texas A&M, we'll probably just shut up. But if they lose to Texas A&M, then they're probably going to be falling pretty far.
Yeah, they'll fall to 15. So they'll be the.
No, they
they'll
should
be
probably
the,
fall to like 22.
Oh, they no. When Clemson lost, the conversation
0-2?
the conversation of Clemson was, do you take them out? Do you drop them out of the top 20? Look at Clemson. Now Clemson has beat. Now they had to come back and beat Troy. Clemson has looked very ugly to start the season. I'm not gonna say that they don't look ugly, but they won a game and dropped 4 spots, and then they dropped 3, I think, in the coaches poll. Notre Dame, again, must be nice to be Notre Dame. Play a game, lose, have a week off, stay in the top 10, so that when you play Texas A&M, it's two top. It's like really good opponents and blah blah blah. And if Texas A&M wins, they could say they beat a top 10 team, which is stupid. Texas A&M right now is 16 in the AP and 17 in the coaches poll, but there's plenty of teams here. Tennessee, there's plenty of Oklahoma that should be ranked higher. Then I'm not going to say Clemson should be ranked higher than Notre Dame, because Clemson's 1-1, but they had such an ugly game against Troy, and it took everything to come back and beat Troy, who has played spoiler before, but not this early on in the season. These rankings, and I'm going to talk like a coach. Rankings are exactly that, rankings. They're meant to be broken. They're meant to show that sometimes people are right, sometimes people are way off. And Florida State entered last season ranked number 10 in the country and had a horrible season. This season they entered unranked, and now they're 10 after 2 weeks. So this year they proved it. Last year they were given it, but they didn't prove it.
Good for Mike Norvell,
right,
by the way.
And he's proven it. Whereas
we both said it last year that it was not his fault.
No, and I've told people
he had a terrible quarterback.
The day that he was hired, I told Florida State fans to sit, stay quiet, and just let him work. You can have your opinions, you can have your thoughts, but don't scream, rant, and rave. Just let him be and let him do his job. Okay? I spent a lot of time covering him at Memphis, his entire time there. You got a good one. You got a good recruiter. You got a guy who's got an NFL eye. He's not just going to bring in talent to win college football games. He's going to bring in talent that'll play in the NFL, that will start in the NFL. So just relax and give him some time. You and I did not agree with the DJ Uiagalelei move that they made. But the Tommy Castellanos move, not a lot of people talk the talk and walk it.
Where did he come from again?
He came from Boston College, and before that he came from UCF. So shout out to Tommy.
That was a good move. And honestly, I was kind of hoping that they would struggle to start the year. They would fire him, and then Florida would hire him. But no, I'm happy to see him. That team succeed. Obviously, I don't like that team. I never will like that team. I've always been as a diehard Florida Gator fan. I hate the Seminoles, but at the same time, I respect what he's been able to do with that program. Yeah. I still think they should have gone to the playoff 2 years ago when Jordan Travis got hurt. 100%. That was outside of their control. We both agreed on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look, just looking at the top 25, like there are definitely teams that should be ranked higher than they are. And we didn't really talk about it at all, but Ohio State beat a good team. So they deserve to be ranked number 1. Yeah. They beat number 1, so now they are number 1. I'm just gonna leave that at that.
No, and they should. And I said that. I was like, if Ohio State beats Texas, they're gonna be 1. And I said whoever loses that game will stay in the top 5, and whoever wins that, and it was close. Texas ended up being 6 in the coaches poll and 7 in the AP. But my thought process was, if Ohio State beats Texas, they'll be 1. And if Texas beats Ohio State, they'll stay. But neither one of these teams is going to drop out of the top 5, in my opinion. And they stayed very close to the top 5, because I know that, right? They want Arch Manning to stay up there. They want Ohio State to stay up there. The thing that I found really interesting, Murph, was that 8 out of the top 10 ranked teams in the AP and coaches poll, 8 out of the top 10 ranked teams to go into the 2025-26 college football season had a new quarterback. Had a new starting quarterback. Only 2 had returning quarterbacks, and Penn State with Drew Aller being one of those. And, and then outside of that, you look at, you can't even say that about Texas with Arch Manning because
LSU.
he wasn't. And then LSU with Garrett Nussmeier. So am
I crazy to think that LSU should be ranked above Ohio State just based on what they've done so far?
No, I mean, listen, I think if LSU continues to win and continues to do what they do, listen, they've said multiple times that starting off a season in a big time game, LSU has given up, under Brian Kelly. They've struggled to close out a game. They closed out the game Death Valley versus Death Valley. And after that, LSU being 2-0, if they continue to win, then yeah, they should be squeaking forward here and finding, I mean, there should be, obviously Ohio State beat Texas, so they're going to keep them there. If they keep winning, they're going to stay there. But Penn State has played unranked Nevada and unranked FIU. So if it was me, I would say Ohio State 1, LSU 2, Penn State would not be number 2 right now, in my opinion, because there's teams that are in the top 25 that have played a better schedule and played ranked teams that deserve to be a little bit higher. I know that Penn State's up there because Lord knows that they got to be in the top 3 or the top 5 to start off every season. And if they keep winning, they'll do that even if every game's a home game. But Oregon, who lost their quarterback to the NFL, Dylan Gabriel, what did Oregon just do? I know Oklahoma State's unranked, but talking about Oklahoma State unranked and FIU unranked are two different things. They beat Oklahoma State 69-3, and that's power football. That's Big 10 versus Big 12. They put that slap on Oklahoma State. Oregon, in my opinion, should be above. I think it should be Ohio State, LSU, Oregon, Penn State. In my opinion, right?
We're going to find out next week. Penn State plays Oregon not this coming week, the following week.
Well, it's going to be fun.
I'm sorry, no. September 27th.
Yeah, end of the week.
That's when we're going to find out, and I'm looking forward to that game. That's Penn State, the 7:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
I am very excited for that game because you guys all know I'm a Penn State. Penn State will always be my number 2 team. It represents where I live or where I'm from, and the amount of people around me that are Penn State fans. I'm going to root for Penn State. I'm always going to root for Penn State.
Yeah.
So, that's a game I'm looking forward to. And if Penn State wins that game, because I don't see them getting, unless LSU handily beats Florida this week.
Who's Penn State playing this week, Murph? Week 3? Villanova.
Florida.
Villanova.
No, they're not.
Penn State's playing Villanova.
Oh, Penn State, you mean?
Yeah. So I'm gonna use the Notre Dame rule.
If LSU beats Florida, I think LSU jumps them to number 2.
If LSU beats Florida, they better jump into number 2. But I'm gonna play the Notre Dame rule here. If LSU plays a close game and loses to Florida by 1 possession, and Penn State blows out Villanova, I'd still put LSU above them if they play Florida tough because this Villanova game is a joke. Penn State is the number 2 ranked team in the country right now, playing Nevada, FIU, and FCS Villanova. That is garbage. That is absolute garbage. But why are they doing it? So that when Penn State plays Oregon, if they win to that point, it'll be 2 top 5 teams playing in a whiteout at Penn State. And that, to me, is why they're doing it.
It is the whiteout.
Yeah, but to me, this is why they're doing it. Because in Penn State, that is just idiotic to me. That is idiotic. They've played 3 unranked teams. This is why I have an issue with Penn State's schedule.
They're the only big-time Big Ten team that didn't schedule like a good game. Like Michigan scheduled Oklahoma. Like that was a good. They lost, but that was a good game to put on their schedule. I was happy to see them put Oklahoma on their schedule.
It's about time.
Ohio State played Texas.
Yeah, about
but
time.
Penn State
about time.
But now remember, they scheduled these things years in advance. So, now granted, Nevada and FIU are never going to be good. Villanova probably won't either. Villanova's an FCS school. But you can't tell me that you can't, schedule Miami for 7 years from now.
Yeah.
If Miami stinks in 7 years, that's not their fault. But
Scheduling Villanova versus Miami, yes, that is. Penn State creates a cupcake situation to weasel their way and to stay into the top 5 because they know the committees are going to do that. And Ohio State used to do it. I will give credit to Ohio State and Michigan that they've decided to play talent. Michigan's done it the last 2 years, and they've lost the last 2 years. But at least they played the game. But they haven't been better than those teams. Ohio State did it, and they won. So credit to Ohio State. Ohio State, the only team from the Big Ten that I can say has actually backed up anything in recent history and played the tough non-conference schedule and then went all through the season and was standing at the end of it all is Ohio State. I can't say that about Michigan. I can't say that about Michigan State. I can't say that about Penn State. I can't say that about Indiana. There is no one that is ever going to win an argument against me that Indiana should have been in the college football playoff last year. That was such a waste of a move. It was stupid.
But we talked about this stuff. Who else were you putting in?
At that time, I would put in Army.
There wasn't anybody else.
I would have put in Army at that time. Army had a historic year. Indiana beat 11 unranked teams. Congratulations. Fantastic. Now, if Army or Navy ever beats Notre Dame and has a winning record, then that's probably when people talk about it because they have to beat Notre Dame. But the Indiana game was such a waste. It was a waste. The fact that Clemson and SMU had to sit there and bite their nails and wonder, okay, whichever one of us wins the ACC championship, the other one of us may not be in, so that you can put in Indiana, that was a joke. And I take nothing away from their season. I'm just saying there's a difference between you had a good season, go to a good bowl game, and you had a good season, go to the college football playoff. That was such a waste of time. That Notre Dame game, that was a friggin' watching that game, I mean, from the beginning of that game, it's like Notre Dame is like, yeah, okay, whoever, but get out of our way. Indiana would, in my opinion, Army would have played Indiana close. Boise State would have played Indiana close. I don't care who played Indiana that year that had a winning record that was right there either in the college football playoff or close to being in the college football playoff. Indiana wasn't beating anybody. And that was a stupid move. So, I mean, hopefully this year, instead of having 4 Big Ten teams, maybe they can spread the love a little bit. Maybe you can take 2 that are not in the power if they have good seasons. Maybe if South Florida does their job, and maybe if, you know, another team from another conference ends up shipping. I can't say Coastal Carolina right now because they got blown out, and I can't say Troy because they lost their game to Clemson. But let's say, what if Troy runs the table from here? I don't know. What if they win their tournament or their conference championship? But the Indiana thing was stupid. It was stupid.
And I feel like though we almost already know who the American or who the group of 5 teams at our bid is going to be. It's probably going to be USF at this point.
If they continue to win and they handle their business.
I
And
mean,
they play in their
what's the rest of their schedule look like? Let's see.
Because
okay, Miami's the only game I'm looking at, other than maybe Navy, that they might lose.
But look at how they schedule.
But if they beat Miami, which I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, they're 16.5-point underdogs. Then again, they just won as an 18.5-point underdog. But if they beat Miami, there's no doubt in my mind that they would run the table in the American.
Well,
they might even be in the top 5 by the end of the year.
Look at what they schedule. Look at their schedule. Penn State, Nevada, FIU, FCS Villanova. South Florida schedule, Boise State, bring it. Florida, bring it. Miami, bring it. And they're playing 2 of those 3 games on the road. Like, I give a lot of credit to Alex Golish and this team for putting this stuff together.
Alex, you want to come coach the Gators? I'll fire Billy for you.
Murph is like,
at this point, I'll take anybody.
Mike Norvell, Alex Golish, whoever's in the state of Florida
in the state of Florida that wants to come coach the Gators.
If you have a Florida driver's license and you're coaching an FBS team right now, you got an opportunity. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. We're going to come back and talk about the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, and then I got a few cards to show. I got a card that I think is going to shock Murph, and then I think he's going to question me, and then when I tell him why, I think he's going to go, good move. So we'll see if I'm right in this prediction right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. South Florida, baby! Let's go.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin them milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. We want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. You can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world is going to sell a pizza or a burger or a French fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's the number 9, KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We are here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Make sure you make your way out there today and every Monday through Saturday for sales and service. Great Lakes Honda City, sneak peek of their inventory, buy new and used, as well as to go out there and get your leases at Great Lakes Honda City. And you can check it all out by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We're going to head to the NFL. A lot of things to talk about in the NFL, including the fact that last night, if your butt fell asleep last night thinking, oh man, I can't believe the Bills are going to drop another game here and they're going to lose to Baltimore. Are you kidding me? Highmark Stadium, the last time that we'll ever have a season/home opener at Highmark before the new field and the new stadium comes out. Can't believe we're going to lose this on a historic season as we're saying goodbye to this stadium. How could we possibly lose to this team? They didn't. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills came back 41-40 over Lamar Jackson, and maybe silencing anybody who thought last year that Josh Allen should not be the MVP. Two MVPs going up against each other. Lamar Jackson of 2 years ago, Josh Allen of last season, and the Bills bested the Ravens. 3 scores in the last 4 minutes. 41-40. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, man. Woo! I love the fact that the Florida League left him out there for me to take. Murph, what are your thoughts on that game? We got to hit that one really quick.
He was one of the ones who didn't really watch the game and fell asleep and woke up to seeing that they won and was very impressed. Josh Allen and the Bills don't ever quit. They just don't. It's in their nature, and it's kind of what they do. And you can never count Josh Allen out, unless it's against Patrick Mahomes. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, give credit to Buffalo where it's due. They 22 points in the fourth quarter to 6 for the Ravens. The only quarter they outscored them, and they won 41-40. And that's a scary team. I mean, this could legitimately be the year for Buffalo, but we'll have to see. And also, thank you for our Marywood League letting me take Josh Allen. 66 points that he got in his first game as quarterback for me. I decided I wanted to get Josh Allen in one of my leagues, so I reached a little bit and took him early, and good start. Yeah. Very good start for Josh Allen, and I'm going to win that matchup as the reigning defending champion in that league.
That's right.
But yeah, it's been how'd your fantasy teams do this week? Did you have any Bills or Ravens anywhere that helped you out last night?
So I am going up. So in our Marywood League, I'm leading Joe, but he's got somebody going tonight. I do not. And then I played my big brother Joey in week 1 in the Florida League. And I love my name of my team because I got Xavier Leggett. So my name changed to Two Leggett to quit. And
I didn't change my team name yet. I'm still Mr. Rodgers neighborhood, but I might need to change that now.
Yeah, we are. So 195-118. He's got Swift tonight. So, and then the rookie Airman, I am up by 8, but they have Aaron Jones. I don't have anybody on Monday night. I had Commanders quarterback there. And then Cam Little Big Heart is currently leading. I had Pat Mahomes in that league, and I got DeAndre Swift still tonight. They have Justin Jefferson. But in the one where, let me go to the Florida League because that's where I had, 65 points that they registered for Josh Allen for me in that league. So in a positive place right now, but we need to take care of Monday Night Football, and then we could see what happens from here. Murph, I do want to get to Aaron Rodgers really quick because I don't want to go to the sports cards. Aaron Rodgers wasted no time with Pittsburgh taking on the Jets in this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets going on in what I call the Aaron Rodgers Bowl. And that game happened at MetLife Stadium. So you see Aaron Rodgers go on the road to the place that he was at for a couple years, win 34-32. They did that by outscoring the Jets 17-6 in the fourth quarter. He did not shy away from anything after the game, making himself clear on how he feels about everything. And I had said, and so Rodgers said, I love beating everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. I was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets. I gave as much as I could to the team. I didn't have any hard feelings about it not working out. I didn't maybe appreciate the way it went down in the end, but that's in the past, and we're 1-0. End quote. I had made the statement that Aaron Rodgers may have one of his best careers and may have the career that it may have one of the best seasons of his career, and that he might have the season that every Jets fan hoped he would have now as a Pittsburgh Steeler, that the Jets may watch Aaron Rodgers' second coming when he's not wearing their jersey. Well, this first game, if it's any indicator, he definitely is going toward my prediction. What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, first of all, it was a great game to watch. Sitting down and watching this game from start to finish, my dad we both agreed, like, even though they lost the game, it was a great game to watch. Mm-hmm. My best friend Jake's a big Steelers fan, so we were kind of going back and forth the whole game. And, we both kind of agreed that, regardless of the outcome, this has been an awesome game to watch. And Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields both talked after the game about, there's, no moral victories. Like, they lost the game, they're 0-1, they got to get better. I will take solace in a moral victory. Justin Fields looked great.
Yeah.
The offensive line did a really good job protecting him. Garrett Wilson had a big game. Breece Hall ran the ball outstanding. The biggest issue for the Jets was the defense. The defense struggled. It was primarily Brandon Stevens at the other corner across from Sauce. Basically got carved up by Calvin Austin all game. Gave up 5 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game, and he looked horrible. He was the guy that was supposed to come in and replace DJ Reed, and he looked horrendous.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. Like, they may need to move Michael Carter II from nickel out to the outside and have him play number 2 corner, because Brandon Stevens did not look good. Like, that was a brutal Jets debut. And it was everything that he did with the Ravens, everything that's on tape with them, basically came out in this game. He committed I think 2 defensive pass interference penalties. He was getting beat, didn't get his head around so that the ball got in. It wasn't pretty. But the biggest takeaway that I have offensively is that Justin Fields looks great.
Yeah.
Even without AVT, the offensive line did a great job protecting him. Great job in run blocking. Breece Hall had holes all day long. But I think people also forgot just how good Breece Hall is.
Yeah.
This offseason, they're all talking about, let's trade Breece Hall. Braylon Allen's great.
Yeah.
Sure, Braylon Allen's a good running back. But Breece Hall ran for over 100 yards. Braylon Allen, when he was in the game, was getting stuffed. Breece Hall has that awareness to find holes and make plays. That is why I thought they should have re-signed him over Sauce, but that was just me. I mean, I still hope we bring him back in the offseason. But I'm optimistic about this team. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to win 10 games or 12 games.
Yeah.
I think 8 or 9's – I don't think 8 or 9's unreasonable. I think it could happen. I mean, you got Buffalo coming to MetLife next week, so who knows what's going to happen there. Jets have had some success against Buffalo at home in the past, but who knows? I mean, if you're going to put up 32 points, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah.
Defense struggled. I mean, that's the case. That's all it is. And, credit to Aaron Rodgers. He played a great game. Put some points up for me in my Dynasty League, and I'm glad I had held on to him and didn't drop him when the Jets cut him. So I do think Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are going to have a good year. It's sad. It was very weird to see him in a different uniform. And, I said that to my dad. I'm like, I know it was only technically a year, but it's weird seeing him in another uniform after the year. So I'm excited for Fields. I bought a jersey last night. I might have bought 2. Actually, I might have bought 3 because I bought one for my buddy too. But yeah, I I'm a believer in Fields. I like him, and I think the team's going to be good. But I wanted to ask you something real quick before we go into cards, because obviously it's your team, you cover them. Talk to me about Travis Etienne, because there was this thing where the Jaguars just didn't want to use him last year, and his first game of the year, he comes out, he carries the ball 16 times for 143 yards.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Carolina's defense being bad, or was it he had a really good game and maybe they start to use him a little bit more? Because I've got him in one of in my dynasty league, and I didn't start him. I don't think it's going to cost me winning, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are with him and what the Jaguars' plan is for him this year.
Well, I still think that he could be trade bait. They talk about Tootin coming in and Tootin being a guy who is between the tackles and a guy that can catch out of the backfield, where they see Etienne is the guy who's the finesse guy and Tank is the one that's running up the middle. And so Tootin can be both. They were discussing that during the game, the commentators were. And then they talked about, a third down guy in LaQuint Allen Jr. and what he could bring to it. LaQuint Allen Jr., a 7th-round pick out of Syracuse, I think pick 236 overall in the 2025 NFL draft. And he played in his first NFL opportunity. He was out there. First game as a rookie, he was out there. So, Travis Etienne Jr., I think he's trade bait. They have not extended his contract. He would be an unrestricted free agent next year. They took the team option on his rookie contract, but they didn't sign an actual extension, a second contract for him yet. They could have done this over the last 2-3 years. They have not. So I still think that it's like, put him out there. Somebody wants him, trade him away, because you brought in Tootin from the draft, you brought in Allen from the draft, and you have Tank Bigsby. So, listen, I think he's talented. I think he's a good guy that can do a lot of different things. He's kind of a receiver out of the backfield. So, the 16 carries, 143 yards, 8.9 yards a carry, caught 3 passes. He's a dynamic player, and he's been a dynamic player. And if anything, he's done even better than what I was hoping for him in the NFL. So I think be kind of watchful of the trade bait. But as far as playing him in fantasy, I think he's definitely a guy to pick up and put out there. And I have him in one of my teams, and he was out there for me. And, 143 rushing yards later, I'm happy that I kept him out there. And I think a healthy Travis Etienne is a dangerous Travis Etienne.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask the question, too, because, it's one of those things where he didn't play much last year. They were going to Tank Bigsby a lot more. Maybe it was a health thing, but, he didn't really do much for me last year. So now that, I have Tyrone Tracy as my third running back in that league, I'm not really sure. I wasn't really sure what to do there. And, because I got Bijan and Alvin Kamara who were fine, but yeah. I was using Tyrone Tracy as my flex, and he didn't do much. So I'm almost wondering maybe if I should just start Travis Etienne, because he's still good.
Yeah.
I picked him high when we first started up the league. I picked him in the 5th round of our startup draft. So, I still like him.
Yeah.
I just want to see him maybe doing something. That'd be good. My buddy that I'm playing against has DeAndre Swift and DJ Moore on Monday night.
Yeah.
That being said, I need him to score less than 23 points. I got a chance.
Yeah, I'm going up against Justin Jefferson in 2 of the leagues, so
boy.
Just calm down, Justin, for Monday Night Football. I got Chicago winning this game.
He can calm down, because the league that I have him, I already won.
Yeah.
So if he gets no catches, it doesn't matter, because I still win.
I think Caleb Williams is going to have the opposite of a sophomore slump, and I think he'll be. I think Chicago's going to have a good season this season. I think they're going to win this game. So I do want to get to the cards here. So we're going to do exactly that. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers and
show me.
And shout out as well to Justin Fields for both having great debuts and what looks like a trade between the Jets and the Steelers, but it wasn't. So I did get some cards here in trade. I spent $0. I made money and spent 0 money. and I was able to get this, which I like that we brought up ETN, because Trevor Etienne, who's now in the NFL, I got this awesome refractor of him here, and Trevor Etienne with the Go Gators.
Traitor! He's a traitor. He went to Georgia.
I know. I got a Shohei Ohtani holiday card here with the Dodgers, which I thought was cool. One of the guys really wanted one of my cards, so he goes, I'm going to keep throwing stuff at you until I could get something. I got a Ben Roethlisberger rookie card, a Big Ben there. I also got a mini card refractor of Josh Allen, which was fun to get. I got a Roma Dunze rookie sweater. I do like my sweaters, and I like Roma Dunze. I got a legendary refractor, legendary logo of Josh Allen. And you don't see me, I'm maybe a little bit more open to basketball recently here, but I got a graded 9 here, rated rookie of LaMelo Ball. So I was able to bring that in. I'll see if I move that. But these are the two that I was really excited about. And this one I'm excited about. It's a patch card, it's a refractor, it's a numbered card, and it's Pete Crow Armstrong. So I do like this one that I was able to bring in. And I didn't even pay attention to this, but I actually have a Pete Crow rookie refractor that was just sitting in my collection. I didn't even know that I had a Pete Crow rookie here for the Cubs. I have a Skeens year 2 that I also found. And some people looked at this, but I held on to it. My only Travis Hunter rookie card with the Jaguars.
That out of Zenith?
This is the Hot Rookies score.
Oh, it's score. Okay.
Yeah. So, but this is one that I got. So I had 2 graded cards of Anthony Richardson. And these are cards that I've had for a while. I didn't spend a lot of money on, and I wasn't moving them. They've been sitting in the collection for a while. So this guy and I did a straight up trade so that I could get an RPA of Anthony Richardson. My first Anthony Richardson RPA, got his first time I got his autograph, and a patch card of him, which I do have a patch card, but I straight up traded 2 of my lower end PSA graded cards for this RPA.
All right.
So
I mean, heck, it's a good time to invest in it if you didn't already have stuff in there. So
and when I looked up the price of this, it actually worked out perfect with what I had the 2 PSAs for here. So to me, I traded up for this and was able to bring that home, and then, made some money back that will help justify the amount of money that my business is spending to send me to cover the New York Comic-Con, which is muy expensive. Shout out to New York City for price gouging people when they were already expensive. So maybe you could do something right by people at some point in your life, New York City. That'd be nice of you. So with that being said, with DT and Murphy here, talking with you about Syracuse, the Florida Gators, as well as the NFL and GG Cards and Break Sports Card Show and Tell. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Murph, it's good to see you again, and we will talk next week.
Yes, sir. Maybe Florida will have actually won a game by then.
Yeah, well, if Notre Dame doesn't, they'll still be in the top 10.
I'm not getting my hopes up, though. They're playing LSU.
That's right. Hey, if LSU wins, they should at least be number 2 if Ohio State wins as well. We'll take a step aside here, and we'll bid adieu to Murph. Murph, will talk with you soon. Be safe, be well, and God bless on your week. We'll talk with you next week.
Yes, sir, buddy. We'll see you soon, all right?
See you soon. Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We'll take a step aside, wrap the show up right after this.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where He just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily?
Chick-fil-A DeWitt, located for you on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, is led by owner-operator Megan Sorber. Her team, very happy to be with you, and are celebrating their 1-month anniversary right now. As you know, that they open on August 7th, and so they are closed on Sundays. Every Chick-fil-A is. So September 7th was yesterday, which means that we can officially celebrate 1 month at Chick-fil-A DeWitt today. Celebrate with your chicken sandwich, your favorite meal over at Chick-fil-A DeWitt. Thank you to the wonderful team members and, of course, the owner-operator Megan Sorber for all that they've done with the massive Taj Mahal of a Chick-fil-A that we have. You can't miss it on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, a giant brick building with a dual drive-through and plenty of room inside. We look forward to seeing you over at Chick-fil-A DeWitt today, and happy 1 month anniversary.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks, coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, is open Tuesday through Saturday, and 10 to 6, the times there. Sunday, 10 to 5. So go out and see them this week. And today, as they are closed on Mondays, owner Josh Gideon is doing some really amazing things. Again, under promise, over deliver. The display cases are going to have an addition coming to them. More cards, more ways to look at them, more awesome things coming to GG Cards and Breaks, and I can't wait for you to see it tomorrow. So make sure you go over there this week to GG Cards and Breaks. Be a big kid and have some fun with sports and trading cards, as well as all the supplies you need to protect them, travel with them, and showcase them. GG Cards and Breaks, the place, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. I want to thank Brendan Murphy, of course, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, we are also with you in the archives, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Find us by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Many thanks to our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York. Myers Creek's 2 locations at Syracuse Inner Harbor, as well as out in Cazenovia on 33 Rippleton Road in the countryside. And, of course, Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, that is right by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding in East Syracuse, Brian's Landing Pizza Man, GG Cards and Breaks, Mother's Cupboard, Avicoli's, and of course, many thanks to Chick-fil-A DeWitt and Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Find the Bobcats every month with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show throughout the year. Our newest exclusive is coming up this week with the Bobcats. Stay close to our social media to find out who that is going to be. YouTube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on there. Wonderful page underneath the exclusive partners tab on wakeupcalldt.com, and on the wakeupcalldt.com homepage. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time during Bearcat Time, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me throughout the year. Binghamton is on youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find over 100 videos with the Binghamton University Bearcats. Under promise, over deliver, with plenty to watch on our Bearcat playlist there on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at Wake Up Call DT. You also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find OCC every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So our next one will be September 17th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The first broadcast that we had in the Laser Lounge with Director of Athletics at OCC, Mike Borsch, is up on our playlist. Go to youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our OCC Lasers playlist. You also find the Lasers on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. With that being said, thanks to Murph, thanks to you, thanks to Ma and Paz for giving us a list of topics for the day, and of course, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say God bless, no stress, do your best. We will see you tonight at the Wildcat as we feature West Genesee's head coach, John McCloskey, as well as the student athletes of West Genesee Wildcats girls soccer. Come out and see us tonight at the Wildcat, 3680 Milton Avenue, Camillus, New York, at 7:30 p.m. We will start. We'll see you then. God bless. Have a wonderful day. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, be well.